With the season fast approaching, it's time to move away from the transfer talk to start talking about expectations, goals, who's under the most pressure. Which three Milan players are under the most pressure? Now, before I give my opinion, I want you guys to pause the video and just do two things. One, hit the like, it helps the channel grow. And two, go into the comments and tell me your three before you hear my three. Because imagine this Arab has an influence on the way that you think. We don't want that. We want you guys to be yourselves. Three players under the most pressure at Milan. Numero uno, in my opinion. Let's start off with probably the one that will strike the most controversy, so we say, or the one that would strike a debate the most, because I feel like two of them, a lot of you guys will agree with me with. Number one, Santi Gimenez. Now, it's going to sound crazy. He's only been at the club for about 6 months. He came in probably during the worst of times to be a Milan player. He comes in, Fonseca, Conceição, the Joao Felix signing, the chopping and changing of formations. Then you've got the injuries. Then you've got Milan being knocked out of the Champions League. It was like such a dark cloud around the club. It doesn't make settling into one of the biggest clubs in the world easy. It really doesn't. And you have to bear in mind the expectations that he came from. He scored goals for fun at Feyenoord. So Milan fans automatically looked at him and said, no problem, you're coming to us. You're putting on a Rossoneri shirt and you're going to score goals for fun, just like you did in the Netherlands in Holland. Santi Gimenez, for me, the only reason why I say he's under a lot of pressure to perform is because you can clearly see Milan's board. This summer they've shown this openness to replacing him. Whether it's by demoting him to the bench, whether it's by bringing in somebody to compete with him. Yes, options is very important. Having yourself rotational plays is very important. But for me, throughout the summer, I've just gotten this image where Milan don't really have much faith in him. They don't really have much trust in him. And I will maintain, if Dusan Vlahovic comes in, and Milan give him the money that he truly wants, Vlahovic is not coming to sit on the bench, okay? Vlahovic is not coming to sit on the bench. Vlahovic is coming to start, and Santi Gimenez is going to be the player off the bench, the player that plays fringe minutes, the player that plays games where, I don't know, Vlahovic is suspended or injured. Why is that the case for a £35 million signing that scored goals for fun? I feel like this season, he needs to have a statement season. Let's just call it the shut your mouth season. Yeah, I feel like that's the best way to put it. Let's stop being polite. Santi Gimenez needs to have a shut your mouth season, yeah, where he looks at all of his critics, all of his doubters, all of the board members that were looking to bring in players like Rasmus Højlund. Look at them and tell them, this is what I can do. And this is why next summer, this is why in January, if you are to bring in somebody, he's coming to play second fiddle to me. He is coming to warm the bench for me. I am your striker. Santi Gimenez needs to have a shut your mouth season. He needs to score goals. He needs to show overall ability on the pitch. He needs to make himself look like a striker that can offer more than goals. And in my opinion, there's a lot of eyes on him, especially when you bear in mind, like, he's the first Milan striker in a while that's like under the age of 30. Like Milan, don't get me wrong, I feel like Olivier Giroud was amazing for Milan. When Ibra came back, amazing. But I feel like Milan always looking at Santi Gimenez as, you are the saving grace. We are finally moving away from 30-plus-year-old strikers. Now we've got ourselves somebody that's young, somebody that can grow in this team, somebody that could probably give us, I don't know, a decade, half a decade. Life didn't start off amazing, but he scored goals. When he was on the pitch and the opportunity presented itself, it scored goals. But now, can you score goals on a consistent basis? Can you remain fit on a consistent basis? Can you offer more than goals on a consistent basis? Can you give us this shut your mouth season? So he's under pressure for me. Now the second player is Rafeal Leao. If Santi Gimenez needs to have a shut your mouth season, Rafeal Leao needs to have 50 sandals in your mouth, shut your mouth type of season. You know what I mean? Like it's more aggressive. Mainly because I just feel like Rafeal Leao is always the scapegoat. He's always the scapegoat. And I don't like it. I really don't like it. Like, don't get me wrong. Every player will have dips in form. Every player will have games where they're short on confidence and they drag out. They go from one game into 3-4 bad games. But I feel like at Milan, whenever they lose, all eyes are on Rafeal Leao. If they get knocked out, all eyes are on Rafeal Leao. Whenever Milan are losing, everybody's looking at Rafeal Leao to be the saving grace. And it's because throughout his career at Milan, he's always been the saving grace. And I've always sympathized with him because of that. Why is the onus, why is the responsibility always on him? Other players need to step up. Last season, I feel like he came under a lot of criticism. One, just him and Fonseca never saw eye to eye. Fonseca made it crystal clear. You either adapt and start to play my way or you will sit on the bench. Yet, funnily enough, I always said this. If you're going to bench Milan's best of players, you better make sure you get wins. You better make sure you get results over the line. Because if you win and you get results, people will turn around and be like, you know what, you're doing it without Rafeal Leao. So because of that, keep Leao on the bench. To have Leao on the bench, to have at times Theo Hernandez on the bench, and you're going out there stinking it out and losing, it's baffling. Everybody is baffled. And in my opinion, it's one of the reasons why he paid the price in losing his Milan job. Then Conceição comes in and it's so similar. Like, in the beginning, it felt like Conceição was trying to build this team around João Felix. Yeah, I don't know. Like this George Mendes connection that they all have. They're all Portuguese. I don't get it. But once again, he showed, I will put Rafeal Leao on the bench. I will bring Rafeal Leao off the bench. There was even that one game where he put Rafeal Leao on the bench to play João Felix on the left-hand side. I couldn't believe it. Last season, he came under a lot of scrutiny. You could see both managers didn't really favour him as much as previous managers. And in a lot of people's eyes, it was time to cash in. It was time to cash in. He's unwanted. When he comes off the bench, he looks annoyed. He doesn't give 100%. And of course, he's annoyed. He's annoyed. He's being sat on the bench watching bums play that aren't performing. And he's probably thinking, I'm better than him. I'm better than him. I'm better than him. I've done more in the Milan shirt than him. Yeah, I'm on the bench and these dudes are dropping a 0 out of 10. This needs to be the statement season for Rafeal Leao. This needs to be the season where he reminds the whole world, I'm Rafeal Leao and this is what I can do. And you know what? Have shame. Have you guys ever seen Game of Thrones when that girl is like walking and they're screaming, shame, 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 shame. Yeah, have shame for doubting me. Have shame for questioning me. Have shame for losing faith in me. This is the season that Rafeal Leao needs to have. And on top of everything, he's got a contract till 2028. Leao is one of those players where every summer there's going to be interest across the world because a lot of clubs across the world know how good he is and he's also of the right age. This needs to be the season where he tells everybody, this is what I can do at Milan. And this is why I deserve a new contract and this is why I want to stay. This is the season where I silence all the critics. And finally, Maignan. I feel like this one is self-explanatory. Maignan only has 12 more months left to go. Let's be crystal clear with one another. Milan were open to letting him go. It's just Chelsea refused to pay the money that Milan wanted. Because of that, Allegri comes in. He's probably looking at it and thinking there's so many other areas I need to strengthen. We can't go into the season with having a problem of we need to find a Maignan replacement. Captain, been there, done it before, won the Scudetto with Milan. I feel like he's a good goalkeeper. Like, I maintained this last season. You keep Maignan, you keep Rafeal Leao, you keep Brian. If there is one to sell, you sell Theo Hernandez. Maignan, yes, he makes errors, but so do a lot of keepers. But at the same time, he saves Milan a lot. And at the age of 29, 30, he still has so much more to offer. Maignan, for me, this is the season where he just needs to earn that new contract. He needs to earn that new contract. Maybe in his eyes, Milan are not offering him the amount of money that he wants or the contract length that he wants. This season, you put that all to bed. This season, you put that all to rest. This season, you put in a level of performance where when you go to the negotiations table and you've got your pen and you've got your agent, you sit down and you write what you want. You write the contract length, you write the amount of money, and if they say to you, whoa, hermano, you're not worth X amount, you'll be like, you see what I've done against Udinese? You see what I've done against Empoli? You see what I done in the Milan derby. You see what I done against Napoli. You see what I done in the Coppa Italia. Because of that, I deserve this money. And I'll be real. You always need to back yourself. You always need to back yourself as a player. When you go into those negotiations, you need to make sure if they question you, if they doubt you, if they're baffled as to why you want this money, you've got performances. You've got receipts. You've got receipts to back it up. I feel like last season, receipts weren't really in his favour. And there's a reason why Milan were open to letting him go. Theo Hernandez, very similar. Receipts weren't in his favour, and that's why they let him go. At the end of the day, you're going to be offered what this club truly feels like you're worth in their eyes. And last season, I feel like they looked at Theo Hernandez and they were like, you're not worth the amount of money that you want. We've seen your performances on the pitch. Maignan, you're not worth the amount of money that you want. We've seen your performances on the pitch. I feel like last season was just a massive blip when it comes to Maignan. I feel like there was a lot of unrest from the managerial changes, from the pressure, from the fact that his contract was up and nobody knew what the future held. I feel like this season, new management, Iglitare, new season, a far better camp at Milan. I feel like this season it's a positive camp. There's players that want to be there. There's leadership, there's experience, there's hunger, there's youth, there's promise. Like, I feel like most Milan fans are going into the season excited. Capitalize on that moment. So when Christmas comes, you can turn around and be like, Habibi, I don't know how much he earns, but let's just say I want 100k. I want 150k. If not, I'm going to go somewhere else and drop the same performances. And then you'll be screwed. But anyways, those are the 3 players in my opinion that are under pressure and they need to step up. If you're new, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on another one.